Hello everyone. Good evening. I'm April Rochelle from Bashar Communications, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our ongoing weekend of contact with Bashar. How many people here were here last night? Okay, well, let me try it the other way. How many people were not here last night? Okay, so sizable number of people. Okay, well, welcome. Glad you're going to have the opportunity. How many people who are here tonight for the first time are seeing Bashar channeled in person for the first time? Okay, so some of you have actually seen it before. Well, it looks like we're going to have an exciting weekend. Tonight's session is entitled 30 Days of Disclosure. And Bashar is going to share some information with us, an interactive exercise that is designed to allow us to accelerate the disclosure of contact after the presidential election. So just some other things to mention. Tomorrow's session is entitled Dear Mom and Dad, and it's a letter from the hybrid children. And in that one, they're going to discuss with us coming down here for, integrating with our society, what they've learned about us, and some other information about how they're going to be helping us going forward. And then in the future, coming up, next weekend, we're in New York, and we're having an all-day session entitled The Precursors. That's all about these new beings that are here on the planet. I guess they're not new, but they're new to us, right? And Bashar's going to share some information about their role in accelerating contact. And then the week after, and we're having the premiere in New York of the First Contact documentary, which has been a long time in the making, and we're very excited that that's completed now. And after the New York premiere, we're going to go to Prague, and we're going to be showing the documentary there, and also having an all-day session in Prague called Amplifying First Contact, with special messages, for the people in Europe. And then I'll just fill you in on the rest of the year, okay? We're doing, on November 5th, we'll be in Las Vegas. So if you want to come and party in Las Vegas and hang out with Bashar. That session is entitled Self-Worth, which I think doesn't need an explanation. Something challenging for all humans, it seems, just about. And then the next one on November 12th in San Francisco is called The Next Phase, which will be, again, this continuing theme of preparing for contact. And then in December, we'll be back here again at this location, and that's on I think it's the first weekend in December, and that session is called, it's a Willa Hilla Chrising weekend. Oh, Willa Hilla Chrising weekend, yeah. So, and it's so exciting, and Daryl has actually created some beautiful imagery, and yes, it'll be very fun. So, for those of you that can, we'd just love to have you join us and help amplify this energy in general. And of course, I want to welcome all the people that are joining us by Ustream. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And I guess that's everything. I'm just going to show you a couple brief videos about the contact crystal and dolphin workshops.
The charged crystals that represent the idea of contact. These being the permission slip that have been entitled Ethithani contact crystals or seeds of contact. The idea being that on my world, this crystal represents the center point of a larger crystal array that is created to represent all all of the consciousnesses and all of the worlds in the interstellar alliance of which we are a part and of which you are becoming a part.
Bashar has been, in some sessions, explaining more about his own life, his own experiences on his planet. When he was very young, he was shown a large piece of artwork that contains many different kinds of crystals, and each crystal represents one of the civilizations that's part of their association of worlds. Now, the central crystal he described is a hexagon that is dark green in color. It's larger than this, but this is basically a replica of that crystal as he described it to us. There is a symbol inscribed on the crystal, which is a triangular symbol that has a spiral in the middle of it. This symbol, Bashar described, is actually his family crest. It represents his family's lineage as contact specialists. So Bashar suggested that if we made replicas, even if they're smaller, of this central crystal, what he did then is he did a special meditation that actually comes with every crystal on a DVD that's for the purpose of charging the crystal with the specific frequency of contact. So when you have one of these and you use the meditation, it is actually charged with the particular frequency that represents his civilization and the particular frequency that represents their initial contact with us. Bashar has basically said that, charging one of these with your own energy and the energy that's in the meditation that he gave is kind of like casting your vote specifically for contact. So if you're interested in acquiring one of these, by all means, please ask the people at the back table to give you the information. It comes in this lovely box along, like I said, with the DVD. And so please check out the information at the back table.
Okay, and why is the contact crystal a hexagon?
It supports the idea, very specifically, that what is attached to it, around it, as the central hexagonal crystal, are 6 others, which represent the 6 hybrid races, and altogether the 7th. Earth being the 6th hybrid race. We are the 3rd. But altogether, the 6 and the 1 in the center will be representative of the 7th hybrid race, when all 6 hybrid races exist and blend together into the 7th. That's the core of our common evolution and what we share as family and where we're going into what you call the future. Together.
Okay. And next, we wanted to show you a brief video of what it's like to come to Hawaii and swim with the dolphins. We have a workshop that we do there called Cetacean Transformation, and it's a guided journey by Bashar. He pre-records a series of guided meditations, and every morning we gather by the ocean, and we do a 15 or 20-minute meditation that takes you to some really amazing places like the abyss, and you meet the gatekeeper, and there's just all kinds of amazing journeys that he takes you on during that week. And then we go and swim with the dolphins for 3 or 4 hours. So if you are excited by the idea of swimming with dolphins, this is a super great chance to do it. We create our own sort of Essassani bubble reality, because everybody that's there is into Bashar, obviously, in the teachings, and we learn how to communicate with dolphins and whales. And February will be, the whales will be in the humpback whales. So it's a really great time to come. And as I mentioned last night, we're facing some challenges in Hawaii right now because swimming with wild dolphins has gotten so popular that there's been pressure from the captive dolphin people actually to shut it down and to stop us from this community that we've created with the dolphins. We've been swimming with them for 20 years. They know us. We know their children know us. They choose to interact with us, and the NOAA is basically pressuring us to stop interacting with them. So we'll probably put together some sort of a flyer or an email so that we're asking people before, I think it's October 15th, to please voice to NOAA their position and how they feel about us not being able to interact with our dolphin friends anymore. So, but on a lighter side, we do still get to do it now, and so we're sure that things will turn out well in the long term. So we invite you to come on our workshop and have an experience with the dolphins. So here's what it's like.
Side by side with you next to me. Oh, when my timing's right, you'll glide right back to me. I wanna slide through the ocean blue, right beside you, 2 by 2. Oh, when the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. Oh, won't you be my guide as we're slipping through the sea? I wanna dive so deeply through the crystal waters of the world anew. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. I'm not expecting you to understand. You're never gonna find me back on land. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. All those moments together I do treasure. Does it really get any better? I wish I could have stayed with you for the rest of my day.
Effortlessly and joyfully slipping through the sea. Streamlined like a dolphin, streamlined like a whale. Weaving, diving, bobbing, smoothly gliding, effortlessly through life, slipping through the sea.
I wanna glide through the open sea, side by side with you next to me. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll glide right back to me. I wanna slide through the ocean blue, right beside you, 2 by 2. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. Oh, you be my guide as we're slipping through the sea. All those moments together I do treasure. It doesn't really get any better. I wish I could have stayed with you for the rest of my day.
In unity, in harmony, in joy and in love, you drift into the depths of the deep blue sea.
Oh, when the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. As we're slipping through the sea.
Now for the really exciting part of the evening, which is, it's my great pleasure to introduce the fabulous channel for Bashar, Daryl Anka. Maybe you should go, I think they like me. They really like me.
Channeling Sally Fields.
Are you ready? You ready to go to sleep?
To rumble.
Yeah, ready to rumble. Okay, so I know this comes from all of you too. Thank you, Daryl, for being so talented and being able to bring through this wonderful information for us. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That's right. Now go get your beauty sleep.
It doesn't seem to help. Let us say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Once again, for the opportunity to interact with each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively, we thank you for this gift you are giving to us. Let us begin this transmission with the title, 30 Days of Disclosure. Now, we have talked about recently the idea that there is a protocol list of things that are done when we begin to interact with a new civilization. And we have indicated all the different steps, stages, phases of this, and indicated approximately where you are on this list in terms of what phase is coming up next. So right now, what we are about to suggest as an experiment is part of these protocols, part of accelerating the idea of open contact, and as with many of the protocols on the list, it will involve us observing what it is you do with this and noticing how what you choose to do changes the energy, accelerates the energy. So this experiment is not just about what effect it might have on others, but what effect it has within you, including your willingness to participate in it. So let us begin by asking this question. How many of you would prefer to have disclosure of ET information? So not that many then. All right. Are you willing to help bring this about in a more accelerated way? All right. Up to you. This is not something that you are forced to do, not something that you should do, not something that you have to do, but it will be fun and it will be simple. But I will let you know that if you are willing to commit to doing this, it will make a big difference. So, here we go. You may even wish, if you have access to it, to write down what we're about to say. You don't have to. You'll be able to understand it simply later. It can be repeated easily by anyone who has written it down. You can share this. Are you ready? Who is not ready? No, all right. Are you ready now? All right. So, wherever it is that is easiest for you to acquire them, they do not have to be fancy. They can be very, very inexpensive. It doesn't matter. Allow yourself to purchase 90 postcards. 90 postcards. Very simple. 2 sides, place for one of your stamps, place for the address it's going to on one side, place for you to write something on the other side. Very simple. Again, nothing fancy. Anything that can be delivered by your mail service is fine. But 90 postcards. Now, On one side, where the address goes, you're going to write 3 lines. The first line will say, "The President of the United States." The second line will say, "The White House." And the third line will say, "Washington, D.C." No return address is necessary. None whatsoever. Now, flip it over on the other side. You will write also 3 lines. The first line will be UFO disclosure The second line will be by 2020. And the third line will be, we'll get our vote. So in total, it will say UFO disclosure by 2020 will get our vote. Now, you have coming up 3 months before the end of your year, October, November, December. Put stamps on your postcards, and beginning on October 1st, which will also coincide with other experiments going on by other people regarding disclosure around your planet, stick it in the mail. 1 postcard each day for 30 days in October. Each day, 1 postcard. Mail it off beginning on the 1st. Doesn't matter if the month has more days than 30. Just do it 30 days in a row. Doesn't matter if there is a holiday or anything like that where the mail may not be working. Just put it out there each day for 30 days in October. Then, on the 1st of November, once again, mail out the beginning of the next 30 on the 1st and for 30 days. 1 each day, go and mail it. 1 postcard a day. And on the beginning of December for 30 days. 3 times 30, 90 postcards, 1 each day for 30 days in a row in October, 30 days in a row in November, 30 days in a row in December. That's it. It's that simple. This will have an effect that we will measure, and by measuring the effect, not only in who is receiving your postcards, but also in the way you are sending them, your willingness to participate, your commitment to this, will tell us a lot about where the energy is and allow us to see the adjustments in the energy more clearly and be able to calculate more precisely the time frame for disclosure in your culture. So, do this 30, 30, 30 days of disclosure, 90 cards, 90 days, and we'll see where we're at. There will be other things that will be added to this in your upcoming year of 2017 after we take a reading on what this has done. But this is one of the participatory experiments that we will be handing out to you for your choice to participate in if this is exciting to you. Up to you. So thank you for your participation ahead of time, and we will keep you posted. Pun intended. In return now for the gift that you are giving us, I ask, in what way may we be of service to you with your questions and dialogue?
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
It's nice being here. This is the first time of seeing you.
Oh, all right. What a coincidence. It's our first time seeing you.
I'm sure it is.
It's amazing how it works out that way.
My question is, starting in January of 2015, I started a whole new meditation routine.
All right.
And I've been doing it every day.
All right.
And I'm noticing a lot of changes, but it seems to be all with what's going on in the universe. Is there
Yes.
a correlation?
Well, of course. What are you talking about? Why wouldn't there be?
I don't know. We're so used to thinking of us being isolated.
But you're not. You're connected to everything. When you really understand the patterns of interconnecting webs of energy and consciousness that are going on, it's really more like looking at a series of interlocking gears going to infinity. You make the slightest turn of the gear that you are, it will automatically turn all the other gears. Can't help it. All your teeth are interlocked. There really is no space per se. That's an illusion. It's just that much of the gear is invisible to you. But when you expand your senses through whatever permission slip you desire to use, such as meditation or what have you, you will begin to expand your senses to the point where you begin to be able to see the interlocking webs, the interlocking energy lines, the interlocking consciousness. You will understand everything is actually one thing, and that the idea of space and time are just projections, illusions within your consciousness.
Thank you.
Does that help?
It helps a lot because the frustration of not being able to see it has been a challenge for me.
All right, but there's no need to be frustrated by that. It works however it works, whether you can see it or not. The idea is to just know that that's what's happening, and to know that that's what's happening will actually give you more ability to see it, if it's necessary for you to do so, which it always isn't. Sometimes you actually don't want to see certain things because it might get in the way of you simply moving forward in your life. You have to trust the way your life unfolds. You have to trust what your senses are capable of perceiving. They will perceive more. They will expand. But if for some reason there is something you're not seeing, then it might be possible that it wouldn't actually serve you to see it right now. But you can still be in the state of being that you prefer to be, use whatever comes to you in the way that it comes to you, knowing that the way that it comes to you is the way that will work best for you at that moment, or at least give you the information you need at that moment to go through whatever process you actually need to go through, so that by the time things change, you will have a deeper ability and appreciation to interact with those changes by having gone through the process you went through in the way that you did. Does that make sense?
Yes, everything is perfect.
It is, even though it will change. Whatever it is at this moment, it is a perfect version of whatever it is. So everything is perfect, but it will always change and just become a different sort of perfect, a different expression of perfect. When things are said to be perfect, that doesn't mean it can't grow, can't change, can't, in a sense, become more fully realized. But even if it can do that, which it always will be able to do, it's still perfect for what it is in the moment, because that's the stepping stone it needs to be to allow you to get to the next stepping stone. The invalidation of whatever is happening by saying it's not perfect enough is what invalidates the stepping stone and gives you nothing to step from to the next place. Make sense?
Perfect sense.
Why, thank you. Does this help you relax about the idea?
Yes, it does.
All right. Anything
Thank you.
else?
Nope, that's it.
Oh, thank you. Perfect.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
I have a son that drinks a lot of alcohol,
Yes.
and his life is just chaos. I just want to know if you have an advice for me. Is there something that I haven't done for him that I...
Well, he may not be willing to receive whatever it is you are willing to do if he has an issue of self-worth. Do you understand?
Yes.
Why would he have such an issue?
Well, my children got abused when they were little,
All
and
right.
they were in the court system for a long time.
All right.
They
So
never
the
really came
important
back.
thing, the important thing then is to do whatever you can to teach him about his self-worth, to teach him that he is as powerful as he needs to be to attract whatever he needs in life without having to hurt himself or anyone else in the process. You need to provide for him an environment that allows him to understand how powerful he can be at creating his reality, that his excitement and his passion is really who he is, and that he can make choices, but also you can teach him and provide a safe environment in which he can understand the consequences of choices that he makes so that he can make a decision about what it is he does prefer without necessarily invalidating himself or the things that he doesn't prefer. You can teach him about the idea that the fact that he exists is enough to prove his worthiness. Again, you can teach him all these things. You can share all these things. He may or may not be in a position to listen. But you can still give him the opportunity, and that's the best you can do, is provide the information, provide the environment, provide the concepts, and see if he is willing to understand or work with you on that, if he is willing to be more of who he truly is. But if it is in a position where he's not, then the most you can do is simply love him unconditionally and know that somewhere in there is a powerful and indestructible being that will eventually find its way. But do what you can, but you can't force him to do anything.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Will that help you?
Yes, thank you so much.
Is that it?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Hey, so I really want to astral travel.
Oh, go right ahead.
Okay.
Nobody's stopping you.
I've had trouble getting past the intense.
Speak up. Speak up.
I've had trouble getting past the intense vibrations right before you leave the body.
Why are you having trouble?
I think because I'm scared, but I'm not sure.
Scared of what?
Leaving my body.
But I thought that's what you were excited to do.
Yes, that's.
So
my
what are you
conundrum.
afraid will happen if you do? You won't make it back? You'll get stuck somewhere? You'll meet some sort of nefarious being in another dimensional plane?
Yeah.
What are you afraid of?
All of those things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, how fascinating. Maybe you should be writing storybooks.
Okay. So do you have any extra tips or?
I've been giving you some, but
Okay.
we will continue to do so.
Okay.
First and foremost, you have to understand why you are afraid of what you're afraid of. You have to understand what your belief system is about and why you believe those things would happen, why you are holding on to definitions that say that those things are the likely things, the probable things that you would experience instead of something that you prefer. Why do you hold on to a definition that doesn't work for you?
I don't
What do
know.
you get out of doing that?
I hold myself back and.
And
I
by
don't-
holding yourself back, then what? How does that work for you?
Not fun.
But how does it work for you? Because you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't believe that it served you instead of the alternative. If the alternative has been made scarier than simply standing pat where you are, then you will stand pat. You will stay.
Mhm.
Because you have defined the alternative as scarier.
So I just
But
have-
there's no reason, really, why you should need to do that.
So I just need to believe that it's not scary.
You need to change your definition. You need to understand how these things work.
Mhm.
You need to have a conversation with yourself about that understanding and realize that there is no reason why something that is positive wouldn't be just as supported as something that is negative in terms of your definition of the experience. All things are fundamentally neutral. You understand that?
Mhm.
Are you sure?
Yes. Mhm.
All right, well, if things are neutral, then you understand that the only way that something will look scary is because you're choosing to give it a scary definition.
Mhm.
So what do you get out of doing that?
Nothing.
But you must be getting something.
I don't think I follow.
So, when it comes time for you to feel that vibration,
Mhm.
what definition will you give it then?
That it's positive and it's not going to be scary on the other side.
You still sound like you're hesitant and guessing instead of
I'm-
understanding that that makes all the difference.
So I just need to be confident. It's not scary
Well,
to
right
astral
now,
travel.
you are exercising confidence in your lack of certainty. You can use your confidence in another way and be certain that whatever definition you say is the one you prefer is what will stick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you find yourself becoming scared again, all that means is you haven't really identified the belief that is causing that reaction. So you can keep digging, you can keep looking, and maybe that's part of your process right now, to weed that out, to find out what those definitions are that you have about your ability to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and process them and let them go.
Thank you.
Does that help?
It does.
It's okay to go through a process,
Mm-hmm.
because that may be exactly the reason why you are experiencing what you're experiencing, so that you can learn and grow from it in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you, if you did experience astral travel, what would you do with it? Where would you go?
I'd like to travel all over the world and then access knowledge
Is that all?
and explore as much as I could,
All right. And why would that be exciting?
because it's like an untapped energy.
An untapped energy, and you're okay with that?
Yes.
You're excited by that?
Yeah.
Then what is there to be afraid of? What do you think might happen that will make you feel out of control?
I guess just feeling a different sensation of myself.
So you are defining different sensations of yourself as something negative?
No, just unfamiliar.
So you are defining the unfamiliar as something negative?
I guess so.
Why do you guess?
Because I'm following what you're saying, so I just need to change that trajectory.
Yes, and is it exciting for you to change that trajectory?
Yeah, it is now
All right.
that you've helped me. Thank you.
All right. Well, you're welcome.
All right. Have a good
Is that
day.
it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yep. I'm going to go astral travel and get all the other answers.
Now, let me ask you another question.
Okay.
What if it doesn't happen?
Um,
What will be your response then?
if I don't astral travel,
Correct. What if it doesn't happen? Then what? Then what will you do?
meditate?
Is that a guess?
I don't know. I mean, I'll just keep trying
Why?
because it's something exciting and I want to see what it's like
Well, then stop trying.
and do it.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, what if it doesn't happen?
I just have to do it and it will happen.
Maybe. What if it doesn't need to happen?
Then
When you don't need something to happen, because you are the determiner of your state of being. Do you understand that, in a sense, you are actually astral traveling right now?
I understand that
Do
possibility.
you? Explain it to us.
Well, we're
What do we mean by that?
that we're all existing at all parts of time, everywhere,
Yes.
all at once.
Yes. Therefore, what really is astral traveling? Is it really leaving your body?
Mm-hmm.
No. It's just expanding your perspective beyond the physical.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Because your spirit isn't really in your body. It's more accurate to say your body is in your spirit. You're just expanding your focus beyond the idea of the physical parameters. That's what astral travel is. I understand you can perceive it as if you are leaving the body and you're this spirit flitting around, going to and fro, but that's a perception. It's not necessarily an accurate description of the mechanism at hand.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those outdated definitions may actually be what's holding you back, because you have a particular expectation for how it should look, how it should feel, how it should be experienced. When in fact, all it may be is that you need to simply broaden your perspective about what's possible for you to see.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
I know, that's why I said it.
Cool. Thanks.
Does that help you?
That helps tremendously.
All right, then, pleasant dreams.
You too,
And
thank
happy travels.
Thank you.
Please also remember that in a very real way, you're not traveling anywhere. It's even more accurate to say that everything is traveling through you.
Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
Wow.
Yes.
So when I was in Seattle about 10 years ago, I had a being stand above my bed,
Yes.
and it was a dark figure, and I wanted to know who that was.
Well, what happened? Is that all that happened?
No.
What else happened?
I just woke up and it scared me, and I screamed and woke my boyfriend up, and I told him it was a nightmare. I lied to him.
Why?
I
You
was
didn't want him to
ashamed.
think you were crazy?
Yeah.
What were you ashamed of?
Appearing crazy.
What's wrong with that? If it's the truth.
So can you tell me who it was, or
You have to answer my question first.
what?
What's wrong with appearing crazy?
There's
if it's the
nothing.
truth?
I've been appeared crazy my whole life, so it's
Then why was that different? Because it surprised you?
yes.
You didn't know what to do with it at that
Yes.
moment?
Yes, because I was in fear.
Have you told this person since then what actually happened?
No.
Because?
He lives in another state. He's married, got kids, and
So it's not relevant for you at this point.
right.
All right. But what do you want to do with this? Where do you want to go with this? Besides knowing who it is.
I guess I don't have to go anywhere.
Beg your pardon?
I guess I don't have to go anywhere.
But do you prefer to? Do you
Yes.
prefer to explore this?
Yes.
How
that's
deeply?
Why, that's why I'm
How
talking to you about
deeply?
it. Not.
How deeply?
I don't know.
Does that mean you're scared of going deeper with it?
Yes.
Because what do you think will happen? What are you afraid will happen? Well, no
That
idea?
that I will be dying and that I won't die.
That you will be dying, but you won't die? Is that
I'm
what
not.
you're saying?
I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of dying.
Why?
The pain.
Who says that dying is painful? Who says it's painful?
I do,
Why?
because I've already been there.
Which means what?
I've been in a coma, and I've
Yes. And was it painful
very
while you were in the coma
just
or
before,
afterwards?
before and after.
All right.
Not exactly during, because I left my body, but
All right. Do you understand that you have made a friend of death? All right. I'll tell it to you this way. You've made some bold choices to make some changes within your consciousness in very dramatic ways. You follow me?
yes,
And you attracted the attention of some beings that are associated with the idea of crossing over. Understand there are life forms at every level, in
Yes.
different layers of consciousness, in different layers of reality.
yes,
So, by the choices that you've made, and by your experience connecting to the concept of death, you have made friends in those places. You have attracted them to you, because now you give off a different light. There's actually nothing to be afraid of, but you are and have chosen to walk in an unusual realm. And these are just the denizens that occupy it, because they noticed you. Do you understand? Because you did something that made them notice you. In a sense, they applaud you for being so bold as to enter that realm in the way that you did. And this can lead to some very deep understandings of the connections between what you call physical reality and non-physical reality, life and death. You can explore this transitional state in a variety of ways because you have experienced it in a certain way and have made connections to beings that live in that state. of transition between the living and the dead. Do you follow me?
When you say beings in the transition, I'm thinking of like so many. I don't know.
Yes, yes, yes. What?
I'm thinking of angels, demons,
No.
spirits.
Well, spirits in a sense, yes. But
There's
not
so
the
many-
idea of the angels and demons. These are outdated ideas in the way that your people usually express them.
Yes, I was trying to be generic.
But these people, these beings that exist in this transitional state, are simply a different form of life. But they are connected to the idea of the transition between life and death. It's simply their nature. You have referred to these beings by a variety of names. One of them is the Mothman. Do you understand?
I've heard of it.
They are attracted to the light that is given off in the transition. Some of you term this the tunnel of light. So like a moth to a flame, they are attracted by anyone going through that transition or even getting close to it, because they are curious about the nature of your being and what you've chosen to explore and what you've chosen to be in this life and how you can use that state of being to your benefit, how you can bridge those two realities in moving forward in your life by calling upon the energies of the transitional state of the afterlife, of the spirit realm, in the way that you do. Are you acting on your highest excitement in life? Are you doing what you would prefer to be doing? Yes or no?
I just started 3 months ago.
To do what?
I've been exploring and absorbing everything I can.
About?
Well,
Exploring and absorbing is fine. What do you
Yeah.
want to do with what you're exploring and
well,
absorbing?
I like the idea of joining art, God, and medicine together.
Very good.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to,
All right. Are you having any fun with this at all?
yes.
All right. Do you understand that you can actually tap into those beings for help?
Mm-mm.
There's nothing you have to be scared of. You have the ability to tap into those beings in what might be termed a shamanistic way to help with the blending of those ideas in a very powerful expression.
How do I blend? Just by meditation and visualization, or
Well, when you think of that realm, when you think of those beings, when you think of that interim state between life and death, the transitional reality, the transitional realm, the transitional dimension that is occupied by its own kind of flora and fauna, its own kind of life forms, its own kinds of consciousness that express themselves in very, very different, mysterious and curious ways, what kind of state of being does it put you in? Do you in any way, shape, or form feel somewhat shamanistic when you think about that idea? Do you feel transitional when you think about that idea?
I'm not really sure.
All
I mean,
right.
I do. I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
I haven't figured
It
out
may
how
be
to.
too soon for you.
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to put it together. Yeah.
All right, but you will if you keep going. If you are acting on whatever it is that gives you the most joy, following your passion to the best of your ability, with no insistence on a particular outcome, you are receiving guidance and you will be able to perceive it more and more clearly as you go. There is nothing to be afraid of here. You are simply discovering your power through a unique path, a unique perspective. It's unusual, but it's you. And you're going to learn a lot about yourself in a variety of ways. That, again, may be unusual, but it's you. So that's okay. It's okay to be unusual in that way. You don't have to worry about standing out and being crazy. Who cares what others think if this is true for you? You follow me?
Yes.
Is this helping?
Yes. One last
moment.
thing.
Yes, one moment. Is there some particular kind of image that you're attracted to? A symbol, an image of something?
A circle.
Just the circle? That's it?
I like geometric shapes and sacred geometry.
All right, all right. Coming up in a Future transmission is something that you might actually find yourself relating to. It will occur in what has been announced as a weekend with Willa. And it will be the transmission called the 5 Levels of Mastery. This may have some meaning for you when that transmission occurs. All right?
Okay.
And the symbol of the circle will perhaps for you make more sense when you hear the description of the 5 levels of mastery. What is your other question?
I was sitting in a coffee shop one day, and I was doing some book work with the teacher, and the music on the speakers, they sounded beautiful. It sounds like angels.
Yes.
And then it was like, sorry, I keep choking up.
That's all right. You are releasing. Remember, as we have said, when you are letting go of old fears, fear-based beliefs can actually cause chemical constituents to form in the body. And when you let them go, you have to literally wash those chemicals out of your body, which is most often done through your tears. So those are tears of release. Do you understand?
I understand.
Don't be afraid. You are being guided. So, angels, yes?
So
Yes.
the music sounded like angels, and then the air got really quiet and still, and I felt connected with everyone.
Yes.
That wasn't even the magic part. The magic part was I looked outside the window and I saw snowflakes falling down.
Yes.
And there's not even a word in my language that I can describe it, but the best way I can is by saying I saw the purpose
Yes.
in every snowflake
Yes.
that came down.
You allowed yourself to expand your senses to see the interconnectivity of all that is and understand the unique and beautiful purpose of being unique, of everyone being a unique expression, and that your purpose is to fully be that expression, which you are now beginning to do in earnest on your journey.
Yes.
So, you all will be guided. Do not worry. You have friends in high places.
Yeah.
Does the word sage attract you in any way, shape, or form?
I'm surrounded by sage, and I use it to smudge my house.
It will take on a slightly different meaning after you understand the upcoming transmission of the 5 levels of mastery. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Snowflake. You have on your planet a saying. We may be paraphrasing slightly. A snowflake's chance in hell. However, a perfect snowflake can quench the fires of hell itself.
Good night, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Curiosity questions. I've been watching on YouTube the Soho telescope that focuses on the sun.
Yes.
They've been showing planet-sized ships passing through there.
Sometimes they will catch something like that. Other times they're not really ships as you understand it. They're a different kind of phenomenon. An interdimensional phenomenon.
What are they doing to the sun?
Nothing. Passing through. They may be using some of the energy for their own purposes, but they're not doing anything to it in that sense.
Is there any truth to the sun spitting out superneutrinos that's going to change the carbon makeup of mankind?
To some degree, although this involves a different level of physics than your present understanding will allow in your society. You are shifting to more of a silicon base so that you can be more receptive to higher frequency energies. There is more silicon appearing in your bodies. The idea of the energy you're referring to has something to do with this process, but not exactly as you may think.
A personal question. I've been meditating at nights I've been acting in the pineal gland.
Yes.
After 20, 30 minutes, I
Yes.
see the fixed stars moving,
Yes.
getting brighter, then disappearing.
Yes.
That happens more than a handful of times. Can you explain?
Yes, well, the pineal gland is what produces dimethyltryptamine, DMT. And when it is precisely tuned, you can actually penetrate vision-wise into other dimensions. So you're actually extending your senses through a variety of parallel realities where the stars are in different positions.
They're not ships or extraterrestrials.
No, not always. Sometimes you might catch one or two here or there. But you're actually tunneling through different parallel realities in which the stars are in different positions.
Okay. Last question in regards to the politics, the elections. What's the collective conscience? Every 4 or 8 years, we vote for some.
Yes,
for a
yes, yes. We
president.
understand the concept.
And every time we have high expectations. And why is it that the mass collection, when we vote, why doesn't it transfer into the reality? And why is it that we always
Because
get
you
the same?
need to do more than vote. You need to change your systems.
But that's why we vote for it, right? We vote for change.
You have to be the change. You can't expect someone to do it for you.
So we shouldn't vote?
I didn't say that.
Because it seems like
I
it
said
doesn't
you
matter.
can change your systems so that the idea of your vote will actually count in the way that you prefer it to. But the system that you are perpetuating doesn't allow it to count for much. You have to change your system so that it will count.
All right. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I've been told
Speak
that-
up, speak up.
I've been told that I have many gifts and I don't know how to develop them.
Oh, sure you do. The idea, again, is that everything falls into place and you express yourself exactly in the way and to the degree you need to when you simply follow the formula. Act on your highest passion every moment that you can to the best of your ability with absolutely zero insistence on what the outcome should look like. That's all you have to do. It's a simple formula. And if you do that, synchronicity, the organizing principle, will come into your life in a way to provide you with opportunities to act further on in which you can express the gifts that you have to give. Does this make sense to you? Or is this too simple?
Maybe it's too simple.
You want it to be more difficult?
No.
More complicated? It can
No,
be.
I was making it more complicated.
Yes, well, why?
I guess I thought it had to be.
All right, well, now do you know that it doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
So, in whatever way you express your true being by acting on your highest joy, your highest passion, which is your physical body's translation of the frequency of your true self, your natural essence, you will be giving gifts just by doing the things that you love to do. Other people will benefit from that automatically, synchronistically, just by being yourself as fully as you can, which is the entire purpose of your life. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
So,
does.
is this now no longer a confusing idea?
No, you're right. It's not confusing anymore.
All right. And so, is that sufficient?
Yes. I have another question,
Yes.
though. I chose to come in and have a very difficult time for the first couple of decades.
Oh, how exciting.
Why would I do that?
What have you learned from it?
A lot.
Then that's why you did it. Because you felt that that would propel you in the direction you needed to go so that you would have a deeper appreciation for other people when they also go through challenges and you can give them the benefit of your experience, can't you?
Yes.
Then there you go. Simple, yes?
Yes.
You don't have to overthink these things.
All right.
Is this making some sense?
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
Could I ask one more question?
That was a question. You want to ask
I
another one
would-
now?
I have a daughter that's having a difficult time.
Having a challenge.
Relationship-wise. Yes.
So,
is there anything that I can do?
how's her relationship to herself? That's where it all begins. Anything you attract is going to be a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. So begin there. Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
So simple.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I've been on a long journey of amazing excitement, wonder, magic,
Yes, yes,
and synchronicity, and it's been amazing.
Yes.
And for a long time, I've felt that I'm trading myself on the precipice of something that's magical and amazing that's happening to myself, but also to human consciousness.
Well, it is.
And
You're all evolving into
Yes.
something more.
And right now, with the combination of what your oversoul has said of everything will change in 2016 in the fall, and a lot of things that are happening in my life, everything is synchronistically coinciding right now to be a massive shift.
Yes.
Which I feel of epic proportion in the probability vortices.
Yes.
What can you tell me about my involvement in that?
Your involvement in that is whatever you wish it to be. What do you wish it to be?
Well, I wish it to be one of the people who is on the forefront of this expansion, and I know I'm already a part of it because I'm part of everything, but to be more active participant.
And in what way does your imagination tell you that you could be more expressive on the forefront?
By utilizing all the blessings and gifts that I've been given to be expressively uniquely myself and to give that to the world.
How?
By being fully myself, and the main thing.
How will you express it?
By putting myself out there on the internet to the global community in a way and getting over part of my hangups.
Which are?
Humiliation and a deep-seated nature of being fully seen and not.
Why is that humiliating?
It's not. It's just I've made it that way through a belief
I know
structure.
it's not empirically, but why have you made it that way is the question.
I made it that way because I have a sense inside me that if I expose myself fully, that it will.
You're using the word expose.
Yeah.
You mean if you simply be yourself fully and let people see who you are? Is that what you mean?
Partly that, be myself fully, but also just.
Yes.
Fully go for it without inhibition and fear.
And the reason you hold yourself back is, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid will happen?
The biggest fear was that I will be isolated to myself because of people understanding what it is.
How is that possible?
It's not theoretically and intellectually, but I have.
Do you understand you're making that difference?
Yes.
Theoretically, intellectually. You're creating the divisions. You're creating the barriers there with your definition. Mm-hmm. If you have a gift to give, if it is truly that you are giving the gift of you, there must be someone willing to receive it, or you wouldn't be excited about giving it. As we say, there are no one-sided coins. If you have the head, the tail has to exist, or there is no coin. So if you have one side of it, someone else must be willing to receive what you have to give, and vice versa. So by not being yourself, you are making them wait and depriving them of the gift you have to give. Why would you do that to them? Who cares about the ones that don't need your gift? They're not who's looking for you anyway. They're not who you are looking for. But the ones that are looking for what you have to give are not finding you because you're not willing to be yourself because you're afraid to be. It's not doing them any good. Why are you doing that to them? What do you think about that?
I think I want to think less and go more from the heart. So how I feel about that is,
yes,
I need to fully open up the heart and let it be and connect and have that experience and fully.
All right. And what happens, happens, and you will learn from it.
Definitely, yes.
And that way, you will also allow other people to see in you an example of how they could also perhaps choose to be themselves. Yes?
Yes, exactly.
So then that's how you help.
Yeah, that's my main thing I've been following. So I need to just keep going that track.
Of course. But in going on that track, the idea is to let go of your fear-based beliefs about what you think it needs to look like or what you think needs to happen.
Definitely.
Let it happen. Let it show you what needs to happen through the automatic organizing principle of synchronicity that goes hand in hand with following your excitement. These things are interlinked. It's all part of the same mechanism. When you act on your excitement to the best of your ability, with no insistence on a particular outcome, you activate the driving engine that moves you through life, the organizing principle that shows you in what order you really need to do things and what opportunities need to be acted on at that particular moment. It becomes the path of least resistance. It becomes the interconnecting path to all other expressions of your excitement. It becomes the idea of a mirror that reflects to you anything within you that is out of alignment with your excitement, so you can bring it back into alignment by letting the fear-based beliefs go that are connected to it. And it leaves absolutely nothing out, and it supports you in any way, shape, or form you need to be supported to continue to allow you to act on your excitement in that way. It's a self-perpetuating, self-guiding kit and system. It works, it works, it works all the time. It's working for you right now, but you're using the tools in ways that are not necessarily the ways you prefer to use them. So use them in the way that you prefer to. It will work just as well for you in the way that you prefer to use them as well as it's working in the way that you don't.
Mm-hmm. Definitely,
Yes?
that's what got me here.
Yes, yes, yes. So, does that help?
Definitely.
All right. And?
Along those lines, also, I've had a deep, long connection and understanding of my connection to being a wanderer or a starseed, or
Yes, yes, yes.
connections to the Orions, the Pleiadians, the
Sirius, yada, 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 yes.
Arcturians, the Sasani, yourself, and
all of that.
All these
which
resonating
is part and
frequencies.
parcel of what's going on in your world and the energies that most of you are connecting to in order to bring them down to earth in the way that works best for your expression.
Yes.
So
the main question is, I've been gathering and finding more people who associate with this kind of energy and this resonate with this.
Well, then you're not really isolated at all, are you?
Not at all.
So why did you say you were afraid that you would be?
I wasn't necessarily afraid.
Are you fibbing to us?
No.
Well,
it's easier to find people on a physical plane in front of me versus I've made the definition that the world is going out all the way to the world is different than on a physical.
If you say it's easier, then I guess it's easier for you that way. But that's not a fact. It's just a belief.
Yes. So at this time, I've made that decision, but that doesn't have to currently be the state. I can make it whatever I want to make it.
Yes. Whatever you really need it to be. Whatever is true for you is what you can allow it to be. Not make it, allow it to be.
Yeah, just to be.
Yes. Does that help?
Definitely.
Why, thank you.
Nope. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good day, Bashar.
And are you good day?
Oh, this is kind of a surprise.
Surprise.
Good surprise. The thought that comes to my mind is, I've had difficulty with excitement. Sometimes I feel.
Well, how exciting.
Yes, because I want to use it to know
You
when.
do remember that when we talk about excitement, we don't mean you need to be jumping up and down with your hair on fire.
Yes, I do. I understand.
Excitement
that.
can be a sense of balanced peace as well.
Well, I'm going to use the example of a property that I'm looking to rent.
Oh, all right.
I felt I have been trying for about a month to find a new place to live, and I found a place that's many parts of it are beautiful and work for me, but then
Yes.
it was so easy. All of a sudden, I just felt this big letdown, and I'm not sure.
It was a letdown to have attracted what you preferred?
Well, it's not perfect, but it could be.
Is it the best that you can find at the moment?
Yes.
Well,
So I'm confused why I'm not feeling excited about it.
because you are expecting it to be perfect, when in fact it may be the perfect interim stage you need.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
And again, if something else needs to happen, moving forward to the best of your ability on what you have discovered, if nothing else appears obvious, will actually accelerate your ability to attract something else that may actually be more representative. Not that it has to happen that way, because maybe you need to be in this particular place and process what you need to process for now. But all we're saying is, by moving forward with what you can do, what you can act on, that at least is as representative as it can be of your highest excitement, by acting on it, you will then set things in motion to bring you whatever else could be coming to you that might be more representative.
Okay.
Because it's all connected. Remember, we said that one of the tools is that it's connected to all other expressions of your excitement. But you need to go through the process that you're presented with if that's the only thing that is obvious
Okay.
as an expression of your excitement.
Okay. So I have a tendency to.
You have a what?
Choice.
Thank
I
you.
choose.
Thank you.
To stay trying to make something happen when it's not happening easily.
And so you're not tired enough of doing that yet?
I am tired.
Well, then why do you do it?
I'm not sure.
Sure you are.
There must be some belief
Yes, of course.
that maybe.
You
I
think that you can
can't find
hammer something into shape instead of just allowing it to come in the form that it needs to? This is
That
what you are
sounds
to some degree
probable.
experiencing with the property rental. The idea is you think you need to push and make something into the perfect shape that may not actually be needed in that way, that it may actually be what it needs to be in the shape that it is. And then you can move on to something else that is the more reflective shape, rather than attempting to convert something into a shape it was never designed to be. Because you're not using it for what it is, thinking that you have to make it something that it's not.
Okay.
You follow me?
Okay. But there's some level of improvements that I want to make, like to the property.
I'm not saying you can't.
Okay.
And therefore that may also be part and parcel of you really designing what it is that's more representative, without again falling into the idea that your vision has to be exactly the way it must appear in order to be ideal. Because your physical mind has no idea what the ideal outcome actually needs to be.
Okay.
If you insist on a particular vision being the ideal outcome, that may actually be limiting you from an outcome that could be many times greater than you imagined.
Okay.
When you understand that your particular vision is just a symbol that represents the energy state of an ideal outcome, but not necessarily the image of the ideal outcome, because it's the best that the physical mind can come up with, then you will understand to let it go when you're in the proper state that can attract the ideal outcome, because you will begin to truly understand that the vision you have may actually be limiting what could come to you, instead of holding it as the ideal outcome, which it may not be. Okay. So once you understand that it might be actually acting as a limitation, you'll start dropping it. You won't need it to be a certain way anymore.
So the ideal outcome is a limitation on.
What you think is the ideal outcome is often a limitation.
So what I visualize for could be limiting.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just a symbol to get you into the proper state to attract the ideal outcome, because you get excited about the vision. But when you get attached to the vision,
you're actually attaching to a limitation because you don't know that your physical mind was actually capable of imagining what is truly the ideal outcome. But the higher mind can, because it can see farther than you. It can see bigger than you. And it can give you something much grander than your physical mind was capable of imagining, because the physical mind only has so many props that it can work with in physical reality.
So is another way to look at things, because sometimes I'm constantly going, am I excited about this? Am I excited about this? And then all of a sudden I'm not excited. But if
because you spend too much time wondering if you're excited about it instead of just acting on the excitement that's there.
I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm afraid
that's
of making
great.
more mistakes.
That's great. You've already heard us talk about the idea of how to use the concept and redefine the concept of mistakes.
Yes.
You can learn from anything. So what? If it's always something you can learn something positive from, who cares how many you make? As long as you learn.
Right.
Yes?
Yes.
Are you saying you have no capacity to learn?
No.
Then why would you be afraid of making what is a so-called mistake, which is just discovering something that you don't prefer, which helps you define more clearly what you do prefer?
Well, I think maybe I need to do more course corrections quicker because I stay trying to make the mistake work.
Yes. Just course correct.
Okay. Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, it does. I have another question relating to medical, but I'm not asking for a medical reading.
That's good because we won't give you one.
Yes, I know. So I have this condition where I get like a restriction or a cramping, and I can take supplements to make that go away. And if I continually take the supplements all the time, then
do me a favor.
What?
Tighten your fists right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tighten them as tight as you possibly can. Keep tightening them.
Okay.
More.
Okay.
Keep tightening them. Tighten more. Come on, you can do it. Tighten them more. Does it?
Yes.
You want to let go?
Okay.
Let go.
So that's...
Yes.
Okay.
That's the energy equivalent of what you're doing.
Okay. So figuring out what the triggers are and letting those go, that's the...
Yes.
The healing process. Okay, great. I have one last question about this idea of batteries. Recently came to me the flow battery, and people are experimenting with those batteries.
Yes.
And
is that something that excites you?
Yes, it does.
Are you going to experiment with it?
I kind of feel like a little out of my league with...
Can you learn?
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Thank you so much for always information. It helps me a lot.
All right. Thank you for making the information your own so that you can help yourself.
Okay. I have a question. Do you know about tachyon energy?
Yes, we understand. Many of the people on your planet that think they're using tachyon energy are not really doing it in a way that makes much difference. The technology to tap into the idea of tachyon energy is quite different than what many people on your planet are doing. Now, it doesn't mean you can't access tachyon energy yourself. So what they're really doing is simply creating a permission slip that allows you personally on a biological level to open up to using tachyon energy more efficiently. But the devices themselves are not really a technology that takes advantage of processing tachyon energy. They're permission slips that gives you more permission to use the tachyon energy yourself.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
And I saw the picture. It calls light mandala, and that's a machine using crystal and light.
Yes.
And put some patterns on the skin.
Again, this is another permission slip.
Right.
You understand this concept, yes?
Yes, I understand that.
So use whatever permission slip you believe works for you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It's as simple as that.
Right. Okay. And yesterday.
Yes.
one of my best friend
Yes.
passed away.
Oh, all right.
Right after that,
Yes.
I felt like he chose to leave this earth, and then he's still enjoying his journey, even though he passed away.
Well, of course he is enjoying his journey.
Right.
And the timing of these things is usually because then it turns your attention toward the spirit world to pull you along up the ladder to increase your vibration because you wish to reach out to that person. So it expands your senses and you can learn to still communicate with them. Just because they're in spirit doesn't mean they're not still part of your life. It doesn't mean you can't learn to communicate with them. So now your attention is turned toward the idea of the spirit realm, and you can allow yourself to let that energy into your system so that you can become more sensitive to communications from your friend and from the spirit level.
Okay.
This is often why people will die at certain times, to bring your attention forward into the spirit world, because it helps you. It helps you on your journey.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Okay. And then
Yes.
I am dancer.
Yes.
I've been working many years as a dancer.
Is this your excitement, or at
Yes.
least one expression of it? Yes, this is one expression of your excitement?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And I'm following my passion.
Yes. And so?
And so many synchronicity happens.
Yes, of course. That's what happens when you follow your passion.
Yes.
Synchronicity increases.
Yes. And
Yes.
I just want to share my experience. Like
Yes.
before, I couldn't imagine I can eat and live and
Yes.
being dancing, being
But
artist.
now
and
you
then
can.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thank you so much. It is important to understand that being yourself works. The most difficult thing you can possibly do in your life is try to be someone you're not. So stop resisting who you are. Let life work. Allow it to work. Isn't that right, Nania?
How did you know?
What do you mean, how did I know? I know because I let life work.
Oh, that's a little spooky.
Oh, spooky Bashar. All right. Well, it is approaching your Halloween. So time to be a little bit spooky.
Well,
Ooh,
I have to admit, sometimes I'm haunted by you.
aliens. Oh, wait. Alien ghosts. Even spookier.
You're so funny.
Oh, wait. Funny alien ghosts. All right, not so spooky.
Yeah, spooky funny.
Oh, all right. More spoofy.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
So we have some Ustream questions.
Yes.
How do I stay calm during a contact experience? Yikes.
When you are in the proper state, calmness will be automatic. It'll be part of the experience because you will be ready, truly ready. So it's built in.
So how about all the people that get like freaked out and they run away?
They're not ready.
Oh, I see. So there's nothing you can do to stay calm? I mean...
Yes, be in the proper state. And you already all know how to get into the proper state.
Go to Arizona?
Like father, like daughter. Now who's being spoofy? And by the way...
Yes?
Yes. That's one of the states because that's the state our ship is above.
That's right. In fact, somebody wanted to know how many miles above are you these days?
853. You want me to go back up?
Well, that's a good sign, isn't it?
If you say so.
Yes, it's a good sign.
Thank you.
Let's just see what else we have here. Do your people breathe in the same way that we do?
Sort of. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Although we take in more oxygen and accelerate the energy in the oxygen in a very different way than you do. It creates a much stronger electromagnetic field around our bodies. And the electromagnetic field is partly how we breathe. You too, but you don't know that yet.
Would your physiology seem really alien to us?
It would seem a bit unusual. Because remember, we do not eat, we do not sleep. Therefore, we don't really have the same internal configurations anymore that we used to. Therefore, we are evolving, as we say, into quasi-physical beings who don't necessarily express many of the same physiological functions and therefore have no need to experience the idea of the way you experience your bodies. We used to, but no longer.
But some of the others, like the Yael, their bodies would be more physiologically similar to ours? Or
Some of them, not all of them.
the hybrids?
The hybrid children certainly will be more similar to you.
Okay.
Hence their ability to live among you more easily.
Someone else wanted to know, do the hybrid children cry?
Some have been known to.
So unlike your species, they actually can feel sadness.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
does that mean like all their markers aren't turned on then?
In a sense, but you must understand they have slightly different markers. They are still a different species. And they process things in a slightly different way. And the reasons they may cry are not necessarily aligned with all the same reasons in which you may cry.
That's right, because when your children never cry, right?
No.
But the physiological release
Yes.
is a positive behavior, wouldn't you say? Or
Within
is
the
it
hybrid children, yes, but it's unnecessary
for
within
yours?
ours.
Okay, so for them, like we also cry when we laugh really hard too.
Yes.
So it's very potent part of our physiological
Yes,
change.
but we experience it differently. Again, it has to do with vibrations in our electromagnetic field.
Yeah, I mean, but as far as like the hybrid children.
Well, a little bit, yes, but they're
Okay.
more like you.
So
They will still have expressions you will recognize as human emotions to some degree.
oh, will they seem more muted than ours or more
Depends.
neutral?
It depends. It depends.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay. All right, well, we'll just keep on moving along here.
Yes.
How many civilizations live in our universe? And
In the
our
universe?
I just read the questions.
We are aware. We are aware. Now, this doesn't mean we've met them all. We are aware through communications of approximately 65 million civilizations. Now, this encompasses many different galaxies and many different communications with many different species who themselves may or may not have met some of these other civilizations. So that is what we are aware of at this moment. Of course, there are obviously many, 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 many more.
Yeah, it's kind of like the ocean. It's just filled with life, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. And of course, it also depends on what you mean by a civilization, because there are many interpretations of that idea. But we have given you a number that is at least representative of something that is close to what you would also somewhat recognize as a civilization of sorts. So that number represents something that you would be somewhat familiar with or capable of recognizing as such. There are many, many
quote unquote civilizations you wouldn't even recognize as civilizations.
It's quite a universe.
And it's not the only universe. There is a
Right,
multiverse.
there's a multiverse, yeah. Like, there's a lot of stuff.
The true answer, in a sense, therefore, would be actually there are an infinite number of civilizations. But that wouldn't necessarily give you a practical understanding of what might be local, so to speak.
So another person wanted to know, will you and your team be part of the first contact crew to come?
No. The Sasani people will be the third hybrid civilization you will meet, not the first. The Yael are the first hybrid civilization, which doesn't mean they're the first civilization, just the first hybrid civilization to make open contact with you, but we will be the third.
And then on another topic, someone asked, is the chance of a female president still 88%?
Give or take. Yes, give or take.
Okay. And probably lastly,
yes,
where does writer's block come from, and how can a person overcome it?
Writer's block comes from inflexibility with what's happening and assumption and expectation of what needs to happen instead of exploring why the writer's block is there. Because it isn't really a block, it's an arrow pointing in an unexpected direction. And if nothing else, if you experience what you call writer's block, write about the writer's block and then you won't be blocked.
That's very clever.
We have been known to be so from time to time.
Yes, you have.
Is it time for your break and your holotone?
Well, could someone tell me what time it is right now? Oh, so actually, we have about 20 minutes left. If you're up
you have
for
about
it.
15.
Okay, so how many names would you like me to pull?
You may pull one at the moment.
All right. Maria Turnout.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you.
Making sure you're all awake.
Good
morning.
A couple of years ago now, it was an extraordinary night. It was just so beautiful. I was enjoying myself immensely. I'm driving over the hill down into the valley here in California, top down, and I look up.
Your top was down?
My top, my convertible.
You said you were enjoying yourself immensely.
My convertible.
Oh, all right.
And I look up.
You have a convertible top. What does it change into?
A convertible car.
Oh, all right.
Yes. I look up.
Yes.
And there's two massive globes in the sky. And I'm saying to my friend that was sitting beside me, look, look, look. And nobody seemed to see it. And I'm looking up, and they're zipping up and down and around. And, and then as I'm saying, look, shoom, they shoot straight up and disappear.
Yes.
And
this is quite common.
And but that week, I became very almost ill, and I very seldom become ill.
Because you were processing higher level energies and weren't used to that yet. You had to stretch to accommodate them and get used to that frequency. There was some resistance just because of the way that you're used to thinking of these things. You just had to let go of the old paradigm, that's all. It helped stretch you out.
Okay. And in helping me stretch out, how did that change me?
It opened up new paths for you to expand your senses and act more in alignment with your true frequency.
Okay.
And so what are you doing with that experience?
A whole lot more research.
Into?
Higher dimensions, I guess.
All right.
Becoming more.
Is that fun?
Oh, it's tons of fun.
All right. So it inspired you.
Yes, very much.
To go more deeply into that subject, yes?
Yes.
Well, that's exactly what happened for the channel. So look where you could wind up.
So you
Maybe,
said-
maybe not.
Because energy runs both ways.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. It's hyperconductive, not just superconductive. Goes in a multitude of directions simultaneously.
Okay. So when I see them again,
If you do.
I did a couple of
Yes.
weeks later.
When you saw them again.
When I saw them again,
Yes.
I was lying under a tree looking up
Oh,
at a
what
meditation
lies
retreat.
were you telling?
I was enjoying myself, lying in the grass underneath
Oh,
the
there
tree.
she goes enjoying herself immensely.
I do. And I look up, and the two of them zipped across the sky again.
Yes.
And it was, I had just been meditating.
Yes. So?
So is that confirmation?
Well, again, the idea is that you allowed your frequency to allow your senses to perceive what to most people are invisible, because you're expanding your senses. If that's the experience you had, that's what it represents.
So just keep doing what I'm doing.
Just keep acting on your highest excitement and your senses will keep expanding appropriately.
And
Yes.
related to that, maybe,
Yes.
maybe not.
Yes, yes, yes.
When I take pictures with different cameras,
Yes.
this small green kind of orb.
Sometimes your technology can pick up on interdimensional kinds of other energies.
So
It can be representative of a spirit, it can be representative of a probe, it can be representative of simply natural energy formations and phenomenology. It can be representative of many different things. You would have to take it on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Does that help?
It does.
Anything else?
Probably, but I just can't think right now.
All right. Well, then please be off and enjoy your globes immensely.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Can I draw another name?
One.
Aga la Magica? Come on now.
Wow, what a joy. Thank you.
And to you, good day.
My first question is about my healing abilities.
Yes, your healing abilities. Speak up.
It's hard.
Why?
Because I have all these sensations flowing from my body, from
Yes,
my
yes,
heart.
yes.
As a child, I was very psychic.
What do you mean was? Aren't you still?
Very much so.
All right. Because you are still a child. All of you are.
Correct.
Child of creation.
But in the human childhood,
Yes, yes, yes.
when I was in a relaxed state in my grandma's farm, I would see beings like Jesus,
Yes.
ascended masters.
Yes.
Just like the lady was saying before, other people couldn't see it.
Yes.
And there was a lot of other experiences that led me on a path
Yes.
of forgetting who I was.
Yes.
And several years ago, I started meditating using Vipassana technique.
All right.
And all these memories of who I am
Yes.
will come back.
Now you are doing the remembering.
Absolutely.
All right.
I work as a therapist, do healing work.
How exciting.
Very. I love my life.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. My question is about the healing abilities in my hands because
Yes.
I seem to be helping people by touching them.
Yes. But again, like any healer, what you're doing is you're giving off a frequency that represents the healed state, the balanced, centered state. If they choose to match that frequency, they heal themselves.
That energy feels like it's not from Earth, though. Like I could.
Well, you are collecting it from a lot of different connective sources of energy. It's
you-
from Earth and coming through the vibrational states of all sorts of other connections you are making to some of the beings you said you saw when you were younger, and extraterrestrial sources and spirit guide sources and many different things as you need to. You draw upon what you need to. It's dynamic, always changing as you need it. It's never static.
Okay.
It's not just one thing.
So when I say serious energy,
Yes.
does it ring true
Yes.
when you connect with
You
me?
have strong
Okay.
connections to serious energy. Again, you will use it in the way you need to. You'll mix and match. You'll connect to this more strongly or that more strongly this time because that's what you need to help this person by connecting the vibration to the vibrations they're connected to so that they can resonate to that idea. You're like a painter. You will choose blue, then red, then maybe purple, and mix them together and all sorts of things in all sorts of ways to bring through the correct vibration for them to match.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
I know. I can see that in you. I
Thank
can
you.
see the lines of connection.
So I have a personal question. Being in the human form and
Yes.
also interacting with other beautiful human forms or humanoids,
Yes.
I have a partner who has a very strong desire to start a family with me.
Yes.
And I do not...
Is that your desire?
It is not.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. If it's not your excitement, it's not your excitement.
But I really love him and I would
Just
like to...
because you are in love with someone or love them or are attracted to them doesn't necessarily tell you why you're attracted to them. Just because you feel a certain way doesn't tell you what the reason for the relationship is. You have to let it show you what it's really there for.
I know what's the reason for our connection,
All
and
right.
it has helped him really become way more aware of all these multidimensional
Then there you go.
connections. Okay.
And then that person may also need to get something else out of it other than what they think.
Okay.
But maybe they're not looking at that yet.
Okay. Last question.
Yes.
When I was a child, I would make these very powerful statements, and they would come true. And
Such
people
as?
would call me a witch.
Yes, yes.
I would say, this person deserved to die because it's hurting its family. This person was an alcoholic.
Yes.
And I just would send very strong intention towards that.
Yes, you're not making it happen. All you're doing is picking up on the idea of the energy paths they've already chosen for themselves that are most probable.
Okay.
The idea, again, is also not that they deserve, but that you recognize that they may have a belief within themselves that they deserve to die, and that they've chosen that idea. So you're just picking up on what they've already chosen that has the highest degree of probability of coming into manifestation.
So that means when I was a child, I was basically receiving all of this
You're
vibration.
interpreting. You knew how to interpret the vibrations you were reading, yes.
Any advice?
Although you were giving them a kind of interpretation that isn't necessarily always accurate in terms of they deserve to die. But you were picking up on it in the best way you knew how.
I was only about 5, 6 years old, and that was a experience I had in my own family.
Yes, yes, yes.
Any advice you have for me for how to expand, accelerate, be better, besides what I'm doing?
Besides acting on your highest excitement to the best of your ability with zero insistence on the outcome, besides that formula?
Correct.
Nope. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. It really is that simple.
I just love to accelerate.
And you will, and you are. Remember that sometimes you may not know you're accelerating because you're used to the speed you're going.
Correct. And I go pretty fast.
Yes. So the idea is you're always accelerating if you know that you are, whether it feels like it or not. Because when you get into a certain frame of reference, when you get into a certain vibrational state, you may not be creating as much difference to compare with. Therefore, if everything's moving at the same rate, it looks like you're not moving at all. So you may not realize you're accelerating because everything's accelerating with you.
Ah.
You understand?
Yes.
Because when you are actually going at infinite speed, it actually feels like you're standing perfectly still. Because you're everywhere at once. So the greatest acceleration doesn't feel like anything.
I see.
Because everything is matching your speed in your reality. Therefore, there's no difference to compare yourself to measure your acceleration against. Make sense?
Makes sense, absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Happy healing. Now you may take a short break. We will resume the transmission for your holotope meditation to lock in and crystallize the idea of the acceleration of disclosure. Take a short break.
Or it'll say, let us continue the transmission by allowing yourselves to become very relaxed. Just let go. Let go. Become comfortable in your chairs. Let go of the day's concerns. Allow yourself to breathe deeply and easily. Just relax for now. No other focus is necessary at the moment. Allow yourselves, as the lights come on and the music begins, to just drift. Let go. And allow yourself to gaze at the center of the holotope. This is now a reflective mirror of an aspect of your being, a larger reflection of more of yourself, with interconnecting lines of light and energy to all sorts of dimensional realities and levels of consciousness. Just allow yourself to gaze upon it. Allow the different reflections of light in. Just let them go where they need to go along your neurological pathways. They will find exactly where they need to be as they course through your system, bringing energy, light, and life to your being, and beginning to dissolve the barriers between the concept of physical and non-physical reality. And as you breathe easily, gently, and deeply, and allow yourself to fall into the daydream that is your physical reality, experiencing it more and more as a daydream every day, where space and time become more and more flexible, more and more malleable, and more magic can occur as the natural order of things. Allow yourself in your imagination now to open up and have a vision, have an idea, have a picture, sight, sound, everything, of a day when disclosure occurs. How will you feel on that day when there is an open dialogue and an open conversation, an open admission, an open announcement of any way, shape, and form? We are aware that extraterrestrial beings exist. We are aware that we are in contact with them. We are aware of their presence, and they of ours, on this historic day. It doesn't have to be everything that you might think it would be. It can come in many forms. It can be stated in many ways. It can be simple. It can be richly complex. But the basic idea is that it is there. Disclosure. Just allow yourself to feel how you would feel on that day, at that moment. Let that feeling permeate your being. Let it wash through you. Let it surround you. Let it radiate from you. Allow it to feel real. Feel that your reality is changing. That it changes everything in your world. That awareness sparks a new understanding and a new acceleration in your consciousness that you know will lead toward open contact. One day, soon. But first, disclosure. Bathe in that energy. Bathe in that light. Bathe in the freedom of the admission. In the release of all that you have held as secret. Let out into your reality, into your world. Disclosure. That the secret that everyone has known for so long is now no longer secret. That there are now cracks in the darkness that let in the light. That more and more information will come at whatever is the correct pace, the correct timing. More and more as you begin to talk among yourselves about the revelation of this truth, that we exist, that we are present, that we are aware of you, and that now you have become officially aware of us. This will change everything in your world. Everything. You may find that there will be those reactions that are fear-based. You will find that there may be those reactions that are love-based. You will find that there may be many other reactions in between. But no matter what the reactions are, there will now be one undeniable truth. Disclosure. We exist. And you know that we exist. And we know that you exist. And this sets the stage and takes a step closer and closer and closer and closer to that day, to that time, to that world, to that reality where we can interact more openly and be present among you. And that will lead eventually to you being able to be present among us on our many worlds as we invite you into the family. Disclosure. Look upon the holotope and all the different fragments and segments within it as all the different pieces of the puzzle that will start to fall into place once that first piece is laid down. Disclosure. Admission. Revelation. This is so. It is real. It is here. It is now. Disclosure. The first piece put into place. And you can do your part as we have outlined, as we have suggested. You can participate in helping to accelerate this experience of disclosure in simple ways. But the actions are important. The actions are everything. The communication is key. Every day, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, 90 days. And there will come more as we observe, as we watch, as we measure the response, as we take into account the shifts in energy that this exercise will bring toward disclosure, toward openness, toward understanding, toward unity, toward harmony, toward peace, toward love. Disclosure. The opening of a flower, the revealing of what lies within, that has always been there and has always been among you. Disclosure. Breathe it in, Feel it to be true. Feel the reality and how it would be different for you once it actually occurs. Imagine that day. Not that it has to appear exactly as you imagine it, but however you envision, however you imagine it, it is the state of being that is real. The vibration that courses through you. The shock wave of the announcement that it is finally here. Finally out in the open. Finally everyone's truth. How will you feel? What will you do? Where will you be? How will you respond? Disclosure. Allow yourselves to stretch and feel what those around you will feel that day, and how you will look into each other's eyes, sharing this one truth that will travel at the speed of light around your planet, this information of disclosure. This revelation that will then inspire others to come forth and add their experience and their information to that declaration. For this will truly be a new declaration and a new day of independence upon your world. Disclosure. Allow yourselves to crystallize this reality, this feeling within your heart of hearts, and allow yourself to breathe it in and make it real and know it to be true and feel it to your very bones, in your very cells, down to every level. Nothing will ever be the same. Nothing will ever be the same. Nothing will ever be the same. Disclosure. It opens up the heavens and the stars. It opens you up to the infinite expression of all that is, and the endless probabilities that then lie before you. It changes everything. Breathe it in and drift. Drift in that dream. Drift in that reality. Allow your lights and your music to soften, but remain in the velvety darkness of the dream. And imagine the stars opening up before you with an invitation of unconditional acceptance, allowance, and love. Allow your lights to remain down in the darkness, in the darkness, in the darkness, in the darkness. Shall you find yourself connected and linked to all that is. In the unknown shall you become known. Disclosure. And upon that day shall you also experience more of the opening within yourselves, more disclosure within your own being, of yourselves to yourselves. And we welcome you. We welcome you into the family as you welcome us into yours. Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home. Just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. And be at peace. Our unconditional love to you all. Dream of us as we dream of you.
die.